to Echo Art with Carmella-T. I hope you're having a beautiful Tuesday. So, we are near the end of Tuesday, almost halfway through the week. And halfway through the month. I mean, it's October 14th already. You want to say hello to my little finches over here? So, you can see them. Let me move you over a tiny bit. There we go. They're sitting near the window, and it's a little, it's very rainy. It's kind of a consistent rain today, but not like pouring rain. So, but it's a little dark, so I have the overhead light on. If you are new to the channel, we create with our recycled materials, fabrics, and supplies. And it's our way to give the earth a little hug, to give Mother Nature a little hug, to give our beautiful little wildlife a little hug. And because every time we don't throw something into the landfill, we are helping the earth, because we are decreasing the amount of toxins and gases that are let into the air as things break down. So if we can extend the life of something, then we're really doing something good, repurposing it, whatever we're doing, just upcycling it, using patches of fabrics to create. That's what we do a lot here. We look for different projects, and I also love working with organic fabrics and materials. So we're working with wool now. So today we're needle felting a bowl and a lid. So I want to show you the one I'm working on and bring you with me on this. And before we get started on this one, I just want to say that I have been, making more crocheted little hats for the gnomes for the class we're having October 23rd. So we have pretty much a full class. But last time we had about a dozen people like this. We did take in a couple of extra people. So, and I'm always happy to accommodate. So that class on Needle Felting the Gnome is October 23rd at River Arts in Morrisville, Vermont. So people were asking, hi Megan, hi Nerd, hi, yeah, okay, hi. So people were asking for the class to be a little bit earlier, so I'm not sure. I have to double check on the time and I'll let you know. But time is really going by, because today already being the 14th, right? I mean, so I just want to say something before I continue decorating this one, and then we're going to start needle felting. So there's one person in particular who strikes me. She's amazing, actually. Another YouTuber. I really, really like her style. Hi Elijah, hi. I love her style. She's very quiet. I do tend to talk a little louder, a little quicker. I'm like bouncing on things, this and that. I get very excited like that. This lady is like meditative mindfulness straight through. And she's got the cutest, just adorable little studio. So her name is Janet Nash, Nash. Check her out. But I was looking at the YouTubers like reviewing, and I had I don't know, it came up, needle felting a gnome, and I wasn't looking for that because I know how to needle felt a gnome. But I'm going to tell you something. So it came up, and I noticed this particular video was from many years ago. And so I wanted to see how she was doing it. And much to my surprise, she was working with just roving. Roving is where the fibers are all going the same way. They're carded and combed and dyed and all going the same way. So then I checked out another one. I said, roving. And so then another person was doing that. So let me tell you something about roving and needle felting. Okay, in needle felting, at least going way back to the 80s, typically what you do with wet felting, you do the same with dry felting, is you pull it apart, all different directions, splaying it, so that when you take your felting needle, you can actually, it will actually hook. So what I see people, when I see people using the roving, the only thing, I'm not thinking correct or not correct at all, because everybody has their likes and dislikes. But what I am thinking is this. I feel like because roving costs a lot more than wool, than your raw wool that's been washed. Like a lot more. And when I see them rolling it like that, the other thing is when they needle, so they're using a lot of it. And when they needle felt it, so if you're gonna make and sell, you are in all, you're gonna end up spending a lot. Whereas if you use the roving, typically many artisans will use the roving in textile for, coloration, blending, detail, like making lines and things like that. So it's not a right or wrong, but I just thinking, wow, that's kind of expensive. Now the other thing is when they're going in all the same direction, the wool is not, it is going to, how shall I say this? It's going to not adhere the same way. Okay, you're going to get a flatter type of an effect, and you're going to be repeating and adding the roving. It will felt, but it does it in a different way, so you don't gain the thickness of it. You know what I mean? So anyway, with that, I just want to say those couple things. It's not right or wrong. They're making adorable little things that way, and you can do it that way. Okay, so with that said, let me put the camera down. I guess maybe I don't even have to put it down. Yeah, you want to say hello? Let's see if I can get the finches on for you here. You want to say hello, Mashuki and Umi? Turn your tiny bit like that. They're looking out the window, and they're looking at me. I find them great inspiration, and really an incredible amount of inspiration for me. But all I do is want to draw birds now. So I'm going to put this down so you can actually see, and I do have a cup of coffee here. Hi guys, let's see who else is there. Oh, my friend Elijah, Shady, hi. How are you guys today? You have a rainy day where you are? So this fabric that I got at the thrift shop is absolutely, seriously amazing. This is a beautiful fabric right here to make a bow. I was thinking but I didn't put it on the needle felted bowl because I felt like a little bit more humble effect of the Angora blend fabric from a thrifted sweater, which I got to go down to this particular thrift shop where I got this. I got to go down there and see if she has any more $5 values. I actually need a sweater for the winter, but okay, so I needle felted the lid, and I used twine to tie the little bow, and then I just sewed it on. So to hide you want to hide the little stitching, it's super duper easy. Thank you for being with me today. I wasn't sure if I was going to get on here today, to be honest. The rain has kind of got my energy level a little, kind of messing around with my energy level. So what I just did just right now, look, I just automatically just pulled it. That's what I did. I just pulled it. And that's the splaying that you want to do. And that also, oh, there's so many things that come to my mind when I see roving needle felted in that way to make like, a big, like a soft sculpture. Airflow is another thing I think about over time. So anyway, so what I'm gonna do first, so that's all I did is I covered it up. So now, just going to put that over there. I'm gonna put it here. And what I want to share with you today is I've been stitching around the edges of this little bowl. Whoops. Okay. So I've been stitching around, and I'm going to do the same with the lid, and I'm going to bring you with me on that one. And then I'll start needle felting another, and I'll show you how I do it. You can wet felt also. So, and I notice people using, I guess for a small project, you can use a plastic bag. I just have not done that. I've seen it, but I've always did my wet felting in a different way. But I did use plastic, yes, as a liner, so things would not, the water wouldn't get all over the place. So what I'm doing here, I'll put that over there, is I'm simply going to start, just like you do with fabric. Now, I don't know if I can actually pull this through. I can a little bit, I guess. You can pull it through a little bit and hide it. And the other way you could do just what I did a minute ago is just simply put a little bit of wool on it after. So what I want to do with this piece is I want to do whip stitching around it. That's all I want to do. And with this one, I did a running stitch, whip stitch, running stitch, whip stitch, which is kind of like a little blanket stitch, really. But yes, you can use your stitches to adorn your pretty little needle felted item. Now I find these tiny little bowls, so they sold really well way back in 2004 and 5. Not 5, I'm sorry. Wow, I'm a little behind there. It was 2010. It was 2010. Wow, 5 years off. I did do pretty darn well in 2005 and to the mom and pop stores in Vermont. And but these I had also sold. What I did at that time, and it felt really good and it made sense, was to put these bowls in with my hats at some mom and pop stores, and people loved my hats. They just, I felt, you know what, I was like on top of the world. I really seriously was. I'm not saying I was selling, hundreds and hundreds a week. My God almighty, I wasn't. But you know what I was doing? I was selling every week. A couple of hats in each store. I had 5 stores. I may have had more. I think I had actually 8 or 9 after all was said and done. The stores started to close down. They were struggling at that time. It seems our economy has its time of struggle frequently, doesn't it? So hopefully, so now I seriously don't know the stores just don't. Those coffee mom and pop general stores in Vermont, they're not in the position to take a lot. There's not a lot of them. The ones that are there are not into the art world. because we don't have the tourists like we used to. We do not. We definitely do not have them like we used to. But so many things have changed, right? This is why community needs to lift up community and, really help each other. Okay. So I hope that you get a good idea from this. So look, this is adorable. Okay, now I'm just going to turn it over and then I'll hold it up. So, I don't know if I can yeah, it's not going to let me do the knot that way, which is totally fine. So, because again, what we do is just take a little piece of the wool and just needle felt it over the little knot that is there. It's not going anywhere, believe me. Okay, so here we are. We'll put this there. Okay. Wool. Okay, and if you guys are doing any of this and you have any questions, let me know. So this is just, again, I just pulled it apart and I'm just going to put it right there and just kind of needle felt over it, just covering it. And it will automatically just be covered, yeah. If it was a piece of a wool yarn, you could needle felt it right in. Okay. Isn't that adorable? No, seriously. I love making these. That's why I came on here today to make this with you. Look. Now, the thing about these little bowls is you can put little trinkets in there. Let me just show you something. This is what I love about this YouTuber that I referenced you to, named Janet Nash, Nasa. She is like this. Look, I mean, she does it in such more delicate way than I do, which is what I like about her. But I have a feeling like, okay, I could just take some beads, or let me just take the buttons. I can take buttons, and you can just kind of make a little zen, a little meditative, a little zen bowl. You can keep your buttons in here, special ones maybe that you are going to you just kind of want to keep them special for your art projects. But seriously, look how adorable. Now I may just sell some of these like that with a few buttons in there. And I just love this. So let's get started in how we make a bowl. And I think I was showing you the other day. And just because I'm making a bunch of these little ones. Now, put this up here. I am making them for the Art and Craft Fair in November. And guess what? The next thing we got to work on this week has to be the granny square hats. I've come up in my mind anyway with a different way from the ones that I was making last year. It's still a granny square hat. I'm going to see if it works or not. I have it in my mind. It's not out there, I'm sure of it. It's not out on YouTube because I don't even know if it's going to work, but we'll try. Okay, so the first thing you do is get a little roll. Hi, Shady. Hi, how are you? Get a little roll of batting or fill. So you don't want it to be wool because it will adhere to the wool that you're needle felting with. So you don't want it to be wool. So fill is what you want. And you can get an old pillow from even a quilt, like the quilt that I shared with you I got at the thrift shop. That has a perfect, just a nice, flat, thin, all the way through the quilt, big piece of batting. And it's not wool. It is not wool. So, okay, let's choose, how about we choose a color here? Something I'd like to make, actually. You know, I gotta tell you, wool, buying it like this, I had bought a big bag of it, but buying it like this, let me just show it to you here. Raw wool, okay, with it, not completely washing the lanolin out is absolutely, look, this is the curlicues I'm talking about. Right here, that stays in the wool. Now when you buy wool, usually at a store, if you're not, this is off the farm. So if you're buying it from a store, typically what they do is bleach out the lanolin. They're bleaching it out so you don't get the texture. And you're getting a lot of fluffy fluff. You're getting a lot of air. I'm going to tell you right now. You're getting a lot of you're getting no texture. I don't know. That's the only way I can say it, because so I get it off the farm. Now I have a person I buy from Jericho. And I have to get over there, and I was just checking around to see if there were anybody closer. Can I just tell you, there are not many farms in Vermont anymore. I mean, to me, this is very serious. I was just checking out and around to see what's out there up here. Now, because I'm so close up to Canada, I thought for sure there would be way more sheep farms, because of the fact that the climate is a little cooler. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm going to put the camera back down so you can see. Okay, so I am, we'll try to keep this in view so you can see this lovely little bowl of buttons. Is that too cute? I didn't even think of that. You get it? Bowl of buttons. I mean, come on now. Keeps sticking to me. It's doing that because at work. I wash my hands multiple times, and what's happening is it's sticking to my fingertips because they're very dry right now. So okay, this is how I do it. I'm not going to take this wool, as I've seen hundreds of times people take the roving and they're wrapping it around whatever it is, a ball, or some people use something different, like fruit, even anything round. Okay, but they're wrapping the roving. So again, like I said, I think the roving is very expensive. It's all going, the wool fibers in the roving are all going one way, which makes you have to use a way more wool in roving than you normally would. That's my opinion. That's what I have found in my own experience. So there may be other artisans who do it differently and enjoy that process very much of just wrapping the roving around. But what I do is I enjoy the process of shaping and building whatever shape and whatever it is I need from scratch. So if you like to do that, just kind of do it like this way. But your fibers have to all be going in different directions for them to adhere. So I just pull them in all different directions, and now I can kind of assimilate it into a nice little circle, because then I will take the circle and I will shape it on to this. Now after I needle felt, because I can take a piece like this and I can wet felt it, because then it gives it a little bit more different texture. It adheres the fibers in just such a lovely, beautiful way. I totally love the wet felting. Honest to God, it's an ancient method. It goes back literally thousands of years. This, what we're doing, goes back to the 80s. And actually, they say the 80s, what they mean is sculpting. But this needle, felting needle itself, goes back to the 1800s. And where they would take hundreds and thousands of these little needles and build them into wood, secure them into a wood panel, and then use that to come down. It would like come down like a latch on, like just like this. It would come down, up, down, up, down, up. You do thousands of needles and creating like a mattress out of wool so people could sleep on it. This is back in the 1800s. And, okay, or mats or rugs. So I really totally I just enjoy the process. And, so what I do is I'm just kind of mixing a little bit of the felting needle, and then if I want to wet felt it, I'm just using a little bit of it. I don't even wet felt this in a traditional manner. I don't. I'll needle felt it like this, and then if I decide I want to wet felt it, I will just simply fill the sink with some tepid water. I do not use the detergent. No, I do not. And I just use the water. And then I just use the simple agitation, like I'll go like bend it like this and just kind of agitate it. Okay, it will get a little smaller. This will get a little smaller. But this already, I did my stitching, this particular bowl. So I may not with that particular bowl. If I do, I do. What would happen though is the wool will shrink a little bit, so that your stitching now becomes a little bit loose. That's what would happen. So, and it's happened. I've done it. That's how come I know. Anyway, so I just continue like this, and I'm going around. It takes a little bit, not too long though, to be honest. You see some of the fill just worked its way into the wool, and that will happen. You just got to keep lifting it of whatever you're working on, and you see the weak spots or the light spots there. So we're just going to take some more wool that we have, and we're going to splay it. I love making these little bowls, and you could stitch. You could do sashiko stitching around that whole bowl, the whole outside of it. You can do. Or you can do, put little I want to make one with little ribbons all over the bowl. And so I'm going to do that. We'll make one like that too. I mean, tiny little ribbons. So beads, you can do little beads. So we're giving it another layer here. Okay. And you can make, another thing. What else does this bowl remind you of? Do you have any ideas? What else it could be besides a bowl that's holding buttons? What could that be? Having birds, just giving you a clue. I think of kind of like a little bird's nest, and kind of put little eggs in it for decor, like little needle felted eggs. So I'll probably make some of those, like put some little needle felted eggs in a bowl. Anyway, there's a lot of different ways that you can use your felting techniques. There's no correct. There really isn't. If someone tells you there's an absolute, there really isn't. Because I've seen pieces out there of needle felted sculptures that are very soft and squishy, and they wanted them like that. That's how they wanted them. And then there's others that are, and I say when you're making a sculpture, for me, the solidity is super important because air is going to get through it over time. So if you're trying to make something that's 100% wool, in my opinion, and actually, so the way I do it is I needle felt it till you get like till you can't squish it at all. Okay, this is like that. This is needle felted straight through. There's no more needle felting I could possibly do there. You know what I mean? So that's done there. Anyway, so now you see the roundness of this beautiful little piece. And thank you so much for being with me. I feel like I need to sip this coffee. I'm glad that I got on here with you today because I was really dragging today, and I feel just a little energy with you guys being here. Thanks for being here. I send you love and light, and I hope you're going to have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the week. I hope your week is going good. Okay, I needle felted this a lot right now. So now you notice I'm picking it up and I'm turning it around. Okay, you want to do both sides. Okay, if you do not do both sides, then you're not going to get the solid effect you want. You know you want to do both sides, so that way you make sure you're getting all of your fibers felted together. Okay, now you see me kind of jabbing like that. I shouldn't be doing that. What I should be doing, let me show you the right way. I should be doing this, using my needle to push this towards me, and then needle felt it down. Keeping your needle straight, up and down. This needle, look, you see that needle? That's bent. That felting needle had its day. So I'm being very careful. I expect it to go on me pretty soon. So now here is another super duper, you see it? Very weak spot there, right here. Okay, so I'm gonna put some wool, a little extra layer of wool there. And I only need a little bit as I'm going through because I'm like, okay, I'm working on my second layer. So I just want to make sure that I've got all, and the way to do it is yes, to hold it up to the light. And now another thing is, if you want to leave those spaces, it's kind of an artistic statement also. So you can also leave your spaces. So look, I'm gonna pull a different type of wool. Look, it's still sheep's wool, but you see it's a different color altogether. And it's just lovely. This is so lovely. And I just, this particular wool, I really, really like. Okay. So I need to get this section is very, very weak in the way that it's got a lot of holes in it. So I'm like, okay, let's address this. Okay, so I'm going to turn this around. Okay. And now my finches, I don't know if you saw over on the other channel, I have a large, very large cage. And I may have to actually get an interim cage to introduce them to that cage. But we also have to amend this very large cage because the bar spacing, whoop, little teeny fly, fruit fly, got me there. I tried to. I don't know about you guys, but we've had bees and insects flying around right up till a couple of days ago because it's been really warm. We've only had 2 days of cool, really cool weather, like in the 40s. Hi, Mashuki. I'll put the camera on you in a minute. They watch me. Let me tell you something. My finches watch me working on my art. I kid you not. So, okay. So now we're getting a nice roundness here. Now, if you're looking for a perfectly round diameter of wool here, you can cut it, trim it with your scissors after all is said and done. You can do that. I don't look for the perfect, I look for the tapered. So you will be getting, it will easily, see how these are starting to, I have to put this up so I can actually see what I'm showing you. You see how the fibers are, you see how they're just going right through? Okay, that's what you want. You want to see that because that's telling you it's needle felted straight through. And to get those to relax, what you would do is, hi Harry, how are you? Is you would, to get those to relax, you just take your felting needle and just kind of comb it a little bit like that. Now you could do that, or you could take a needle like an embroidery needle and do that same thing. And just kind of, because if you're going to use this one, be super duper careful you're not putting lots of pressure on it. So there's a couple ways that you can get those fibers that are going through to relax. Okay, now this is pretty good. We've got this pretty solid. So for the sake of time and everything, because I could go on another 20 minutes and I probably will after this, but I just want to show you how to start shaping your needle felted bowl. So you're going to take your batting of ball that you put together, and you're just going to put your tiny little bowl, your tiny little diameter sitting on top of it. Now this is another really nice way to make a mushroom. So we're going to make more mushrooms together. So yes, I made a bunch of them for the class. We did the class, but some of the people in the class probably watching my channel. So what I want to show them is a larger and kind of some different ways to make some mushroom ornaments. Okay, so anyway, you put the mushroom on like that, and then you want to turn it on its side. Once you have this centered, you want to make sure the molding, this is called your molding piece. The batting is your molding piece. Center it, okay? And then you're going to turn this on its side because you want to make sure you're keeping your felting needle in a straight up and down, okay, motion. Because, and if you're not careful, you'll needle felt it to this, so you want to just peel it back, and as you go, just keep turning your bowl, okay, because this is going to be your bowl. And don't worry if it's not perfectly centered. You can always, if you're looking for taper, it will give you more of a tapered sides of the bowl. But if not, it's very easy at this stage to just turn it. My bird stopped chirping. I don't know why. But to add wool, you can add wool to it if that's or to trim those sides after you've gotten the effect. Now there's a couple other ways that you can do this and without the molding. Okay, so if you're going to do it without the molding, I'll just show you in a minute. We'll just do some more of the mold using the batting, and you'll see the effect here in a moment. You want to make sure you're getting the whole thing, because the other thing you could do is take this piece and you can wet felt it and then drape it over, you know, yes, like something circular like a ball or something, or another dish bowl, something like that. So, and then the other way I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so when I peel this, it's going to lose some of its shape because I'm taking it, of course, up. But as I go like that, when you needle felt, it's like you are, see, it's starting to shape. Excuse me. So the more you keep doing that, the more it will shape. Now the other way you can do it, you can continue like this. That's how I made this one. But it'd take you a little time, okay? But you got to be patient, right? So another way you can do this is with your hands. Just shape it and start in the middle, right smack in the middle as much as you can. Now watch, you see how it's just kind of rising, like the sides are just kind of lifting? That's because I am creating a little diameter there, and it's like stitching, okay? So it pulls, it's tightening all of these fibers here in the middle. That's what it's doing. It's like you're stitching it. So I'm just going to pull that up. You see how all those fibers went straight through? You see how they're sticking out now on this side. Okay, now I'm going to lift this because now I want to build a little wall, the sides of it. And I just, if you see what I did, I just fold, this has a gap, but this, I could fill that and then stitch it, I'm sorry, and then needle felt it. But I could also just kind of fold them into, just fold the fabric into itself. And that really gives it, it's another layer right there. And then I'm putting it on its side and I'm stitching up and down motion. Okay, so if you go on an angle, you risk the needle breaking. So now I'm just turning it again, and see what I'm doing? I'm folding it, you see? And now I'm going to turn it on its side again, and it's just like stitching, only you're felting it. But you're pulling all those fibers together. So that's why you can fold this. Whoops. I have to see what I'm doing here. That's why you can fold it and then felt it. Now, if it's not adhering really well, just take a little bit more splay or a little bit more wool and just lay it right over where you are needle felting, right over it, and needle felt it. And it's just like you're using a needle and thread and stitching it together. And so this particular piece I'll be working more on after the video. So I'm just going straight around just to show you, okay? You see how it's starting to stand up, and you see that right like that? This is adorable. I mean, there's so many, like, look, you can shape it like this. I just want to show you. Okay, so it's oblong. You can shape, that's really cute. I might do that, I don't know. But, or you can just completely go around. So right now I'm just going to go around to continue to show you. So needle felting it. I folded it into itself on the side, and I'm needle felting it so it adheres. And you see how that's sticking out like that? That means I didn't finish it. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit more. It needs a little bit more splay or wool. Okay, and I'm just going to lay that. I'm trying to show you too here. Just lay that over the little fold, you see? And it's just like I'm stitching it together. This is how you shape, okay? You choose which way and what you want to shape. So we could have made a vessel, a needle felting like this, dry felting, that is a very cylindrical cylinder, more cylinder and tall. So it would be a little bit more work for sure. I got to turn this towards me for just a moment so I can see. There. Okay. So that's much better. This is just so cutesy. So this is, so what you do is go around the inside of the bowl, do your needle felting, shape it, take your mold, use your mold of batting that's just shaped like a ball or cylinder, put your piece on it, and then just kind of needle felt around. So there's a couple ways. I use all three of these ways a lot. I mean, there's no particular method I am locked into, because many times for me, I'm just trying to get, you might say, a look or shape or something I feel like I'm creating as I go along. Okay, so I'm loving this. And this is a bowl. So guess what though? I'm not done with this. Let me put this up. I'm probably going to do a couple of things. I'm probably going to wet felt this. Now look at this. This, if you turn your bowl upside down, you can make a mushroom. And let's see here. I don't have anything in particular to put this on, but you can make the stem. So you see, you can make a mushroom. Now, the sides, let me just show you for those of you. If you're worried about the sides not being perfect, you just take, I'm just going to show you because you take your scissor and just even them out, because felted wool, it can be cut, it can be sewn, okay, stitched, all of it. And then what you would do is continue your needle felting. Okay, let me put this down again. Anyway, you would continue your needle felting. So for those of you who are interested in making these tiny little bowls, so then the fun part comes when we start to decorate them. Now, to make the lid of the bowl, all you're going to do is, just like you started the bowl, you're simply going to needle felt, just like when you started the bowl, you're just going to needle felt a round piece. So there's no shaping and lifting and this and that unless you want it like that. Just a round flat piece, and then on the other side, make sure you're needle felting both sides. But anyway, I'm loving this vessel, and I can make this just by needle felting into the middle of it. Here, I'll put this back down so you can see. By needle felting into the middle of it, I pull the fibers together there in the middle, okay? And that tightens the middle. And that will automatically, you see how you're doing really well when you have all your stitches coming through. But, and you see how it's standing up a little bit more. You see that? So you make, if this, now I'm going to go around this again, probably add a little bit more wool, probably the pink and maybe some of the white, and just kind of go around and make it a little thicker. And so it can hold little things, like maybe little buttons like this one. And I'll give it a little lid also. And now the other thing, I'll just show you this. Do I have anything with me? Yes, I do here. So I just want to show you this. The other thing you can do, because I know I have some viewers who don't readily get wool like this. And they have asked me, Carmella, can I use a wool sweater to needle felt with? And absolutely, yes, you can. And then if you have wool yarn, so with wool sweaters, you can upcycle or repurpose them by agitating them just like you would this wool, because they are wool. The same thing, only they're just processed into the yarn and then crocheted or knitted into a form. So you've got the same material base, right? So with the um the yarn, this is 100% wool. This is the wool I got at the thrift shop, and it was made in Peru. I read that to you. We were reading the labels. It was just amazing because it's very expensive, that 100% wool like that yarn, and dyed. So I just pull these apart, you see, and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle, kind of just lay them out in there like that, and just watch how very pretty these come about. Now watch. I just pulled the strand apart. That's all I did. Look how pretty. I don't want to say it's a marbling effect, because truly it's not marbling effect, but it's a design. It's a lovely design. I just love this. Look at that. So I hope that gave you some ideas, and you just see the beautiful little marbling effect, and you see how quickly that was needle felted in. It's just, and these little bowls, I did this one right here. Now, granted, it needs to be shaped a little bit more, needs a little bit more wool, it needs a lid, and to be adorned maybe with some beads and ribbons. But I'll tell you something, we've been on here 51 minutes, and the first good part of this, I showed you this. Okay, put the little buttons in. I stitched around. So needle felting this from scratch did not take long at all. So in an hour you can make your little pretty little needle felted bowls, put the little trinkets in there, bring them to the art and craft fair and sell them and make somebody smile. And this is a very special gift because people are not making these. There's not a lot. Like I said, there really is, it's noticeable. There's not that many sheep farms or farms, organic farms. So what's out there, maybe support them, like get your wool from them and help them out because they do a lot of work to get the wool to you. So anyway, with that, let's see how little finches, look how dark it's getting out, guys. Look. I only have that open a little because they're skittish and they're yes, you are the sweetest little things on this earth. And they know when I'm talking to them, guys. Very therapeutic. So anyway, with that, I send you love and light. I hope that you are finding your passion in your art and peace and joy. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.